Well, welcome everyone. In a time of uncertainty and craziness, we're able to come together and get to know some of our teachers that we typically wouldn't, but get to use technology in a way to actually continue to grow even when we're stuck in our pajamas, which I hope you all are in your pajamas. I'm so excited that we start with our next speaker, third speaker, one of our very own Spotlight instructors and directors, Bert Fulton. Bert, take it away. I'm so excited. Oh, stop it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go in with the icebreaker. Okay, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy isolation schedule, because you all have Zoom meetings and you have, pottery and calligraphy, Zena, and you're reorganizing your closets and you're cooking yummy meals. So thank you for taking time to be here with me. Some of you may know me. Some of you are thinking, God, who is this handsome devil here? No, really, I'm an angel. Don't worry about it. Pause for applause. Thank you.
It's just me.
I know. Well, my name is Bert, but I love to go by Bert Lee Fulton because I am Southern. My family grew me up on everything deep fried, from French toast to chicken to steak. I mean, at one point, I think my socks were deep fried and I probably ate one and it was probably delicious. Because Grease, right? Grease. We love Grease. The musical. No, the food too. It's a food. Okay, let me explain who I am first. I grew up shy, super, super thin. I mean, gorgeous blue eyes, as you can see. I had that curly, curly, curly hair that was like almost bleached white, right? And people would try to be my friend and I would run away screaming. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. That's not who I am now. And that's because I found the performing arts, right? You get up on that stage and something magical takes over who you are. So thank you for that, Ronald. Thank you. May I call you Ronald? I know everyone calls you Ron, but I feel a little bit, Okay, so when you get up on that stage, something takes over, right? You really start to become authentically who you were born to be. And I know that sometimes when we're younger, we think, oh, I can't do a whole lot, right? It's not true. Here's the flip side. Sometimes when we're older, we think, oh, I should have done more. No, there's still time. There's still time. This opportunity right here today is for us to figure out our story, our magic, and how much we have to give to this beautiful world that we live in, right? Okay, so I have to have you do an assignment first, okay? Because it's Friday. It's technically 4:08, so school probably got out, but I'm your teacher for today, so it's only fair that you do an assignment. If you have a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil or a quill and some ink, grab that. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, grab that. If you write in stone, you chisel in stone, grab that. Or if you have a photographic memory and you just want to store it in your brain, that's fine. That's fine. You all ready? Here's the question. How do you feel when you are performing? How do you feel when you are performing? Let me break that down first. I'm not talking about on the stage in front of 200 people. I'm not talking about at a dance recital. I'm not talking about, oh, I got the lead in a musical, and so now I'm finally performing. I'm talking about, how do you feel when you are performing? All of us humans are performers. We're constantly performing. Anyone in this room consider themselves dramatic? Oh, I put both hands up, right? Yeah, we're all dramatic. We're all dramatic, overly dramatic. Here's the thing. You perform best when you're in the shower, when you have your headphones on and you're walking to class, when you've got your hairbrush and you're singing like Mariah Carey, if she's still relevant, I'm not sure, right? You perform best when no one is looking. Why? Because you're not being judged. No one can give you opinions, right? You're not fearing whether or not you're good. You with me so far? So write down at least one word that best describes how you feel when you are authentically performing. I'll give you 2 seconds.
Sips tea.
Sip the tea. Okay, store that word. Store that word. We're going to come back to it. It's a very important word. And it's a word that you own. It is only your word. Okay? So I have had the honor to work with Yorba Linda Spotlight for almost a year now. My first project was directing and choreographing Frozen Junior, and it was remarkable. Not because, I mean, it's a cool show and it has good music and stuff, but it was the people. It was the people that I worked with that were phenomenal, and my blood levels just spiked every time I went to the studio because I was so excited to see them each and every day. Beyond that, I've worked for some other youth theaters, and I have a master's in life coaching, specifically with life purpose, happiness, and goal setting. I am going to school to receive my diploma in leadership and organizational studies. I have a degree with fitness and nutrition, but for 15 years, for 15 magical years, I have been working at the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. Okay, and here's the thing. I thought, oh, you can post anything you want on Instagram, and you can say you're X, Y, and Z, and no one will believe you. Let me show you proof. Here's my very first name tag. My very first name tag. And for those of you who can't see very well, don't worry, I blew it up. Okay, so I have two versions. You think I like working there? Nah. Class of 2005, baby. The best class. Wow. Okay, let's start at the beginning, okay? Blue eyes, thin, scared of everyone. Second grade, our music director in church came up to me and said, "You're gonna be in our summer musical." The musical was called The Music Machine. And I said, well, in my mind, I said, "No, I'm not." "You're out of your mind. Can't do that." So she goes to my mom, and my mom said, "Yeah, he's going to do it." Oh, come on, get out. I had to sing this song called Joy. Joy, joy, joy makes people happy. Joy, joy. You got it, right? I was a smash hit. Next summer, the writers of The Music Machine creates a sequel. Are you ready? The Music Machine 2. And they come up to me and said, "Oh, we got a big part for you. You're gonna play this little tiny boy who's scared of everything, and we're gonna get the high schooler students, you know, the really tall ones, to come up to you and be like, ooh." And the song I sang was, "One day I went to school and met, to my surprise, a big kid just my age with muscles twice my size. And when I looked at it," it sounds like a munchkin, right? Yeah, that's how I sounded. True story. But here's the thing. I never knew I was a performer. Someone had to tell me I was, right? And I bet if you think about when you first started to step on the stage, you didn't know you were a performer. Someone kind of had to push you along, right? It's just like when we are born, we have to learn how to crawl and how to walk and soon how to run, right? And so that's the life of a performer. We're trying to always figure it out. And I think something that we all have in common in this room is that we're getting really close to understanding it. We're getting really close to understanding it. Something we have in common is we can take emotions and we can morph them and express them and give the story to the audience to follow along with. And it's such a huge treat and honor. So think about that word that you wrote down. How do you feel when you're performing? How do you feel? My word, I'm in harmony. If you think about harmony in music, it's when, you know, picture yourself at church, staying on theme, and the choir singing, and you have the people way up high, and you have the people right in the middle, and the people way down low, and they're singing together, and it's a beautiful harmony, right? For me, that's who I am when I am so in alignment. And when I'm in alignment, nothing can hold me back. Nothing can hold me back. Not even fear. We're going to talk about fear a lot today because fear prevents us from being great. It prevents us from being great. So let's start. Okay, 2000, and let's actually go back a little bit. Let's say 1992. 1992, we would go to Disneyland every single summer. And for the parents and guardians and aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas, you may remember this. In 1992, to go to Disneyland in the summer cost $23.
That's,
Jealous, huh?
yeah.
Jealous. $23. But that particular summer, we got in for free because my sister was dating someone who worked there, and he got us in for free. But why did we go that summer? Because the greatest nighttime spectacular opened, Fantasmic. Nothing was going to stop me from seeing that show, right? So we line up for the first show. There were 3 shows that night. We line up for the first show. Oh my God, you would thought they were giving money away. You couldn't even get near it. So what did I do best? Come on, you understand, right? Ooh, you know, tear. If I don't see this show, I don't know what I'm gonna do, right? Okay, so my dad, I remember this very clearly. My dad goes up and asks one of the cast members, like, okay, where should we go to see the next showing? Oh, go up on the bridge. You know the bridge of Pirates of the Caribbean? Go up, and when the first show exits, you can scoop right in. Well, I don't want to stand there and listen to the first show, right? I don't want to see, I don't want to hear, I don't want to know anything that happens. Well, you kind of have to when you're waiting in line for a seat. We get in, we sit down, I see the most beautiful production I have ever seen. We're talking OG Fantasmic. You know, Ursula the Sea Witch, when she existed in the show, and the crocodile, and everything, right, was kind of interesting. OG. And I knew right then and there, I have to be in this. I don't know how I'm going to. I don't even know what steps. I was 12 years old at the time, but I have to be in this. Okay. I go to high school. It's cute. I'm in drama, you know, the biz. And a friend of mine had a father who worked in custodial. And he knew that I was obsessed with Disneyland. I got my first annual pass in 1995.
I don't even want to know how much that cost.
$89.
No.
Yes.
It's much more expensive now.
$89. Okay. Okay. Anyways, so he brings me this piece of paper and he said, oh, they're having an audition. Hunchback of Notre Dame, Festival of Fools. Now, back in those days, to get a job at Disneyland, you only had to be 15 and a half with a work permit. Now, a work permit is something that your parents would sign. Your teacher, one of your teachers had to sign it. Then you had to go down, and it was proof that you could work, okay? Now, back in, are you ready for this? Minimum wage, 1996, was $4.25, okay? Big money, big money. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I could totally audition for this, but I'm not going to. There's no way I'm good enough to perform at Disneyland. Have you seen those shows? They're amazing. The energy, the spirit. Okay, 1997 rolls around. My favorite Disney movie of all time comes out, Hercules. Hercules, right? Hercules. And the Hercules Victory Parade rolled down Main Street, and let me tell you something, no parade has been as energetic as this was. Almost every single day in summer, my brother and I would go down, we'd sit on that hot curb, burn our tush, and we would wait for Hercules Victory Parade to roll on down. And then what happened? I decide, back in the day, you could only get audition notices if someone had that cast member reference guide, or you had to pick up the telephone and call the audition hotline. No looking online for business like that, right? So every day I'm like, waiting for the audition. Finally, what happens? We are auditioning for the Hercules Victory Parade. Nope, I'm not ready. 1998 rolls around. Animazement at the Fantasyland stage. Who's singing Go the Distance? Hercules. I gotta be in that show. Oh my. No, I wasn't ready. I wasn't in harmony. I wasn't aligned. I was still trying to convince myself that I was good enough, right? Okay, 1998, almost done with school. I'm now 18 years old, and something on that audition hotline, something I have never heard before, Fantasmic auditions. Y'all, I went down. I went down there. I drove myself at 10 o'clock at night. The audition started at midnight because there was one dance studio on property. I went down there. I circled the parking lot probably 9,000 billion times. I parked. Are you ready for this? I was wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and they were purple.
That's a statement.
Oh, come on. You can't make this up. I go to security because I see people lined up. I said, hi, I'm here to audition for Fantasmic. They take me over there from 12 a.m. till 9 a.m. We auditioned. The first was across the floor. I got kept. Then we had to learn a variation of the monkey routine. If you're familiar with the old G monkeys, it's the hardest routine in all Disney history. We auditioned to a variation, a very long variation, and then we learned a character routine to Huffalump and Woozles. Huffalump and Woozles is very, very pirate, elephant inspired. So we learned both routines. They send us outside. Now, here's the thing. People are stretching. They're already, they know each other, because from what I heard, Fantasmic had not auditioned in years. Because once you get in fan, we call it fan for short, once you get in the show, you don't leave, because they treat you like professional performers. And so there is a lady still, her name's Linda. She opened the show and she's still in the show. You don't leave. You don't leave something so good. So it's my turn to audition. Here's the cool part. That year, Mulan, the animated film, came out, and guess who was sitting next to me? Mulan. I got to see Mulan before the world saw her on the screen. And I'm like this. Right? The magic is starting to enter my veins. I'm all, okay, I did not get a part. This was so shady. No, it wasn't really shady. So they start to call numbers, and they're like, okay, numbers 1, 7, 12, 13, go into this circle. 91, 45, blah, blah, go into this. Everyone's clumped up in circles. So I go to my circle and I'm like, oh, in all the shows I've ever done, when they call your number, that's a good sign. So we grouped up in our circle and they said, we don't need you. Oh, 9 a.m. I'm driving home, right? Okay. So I thought that was it. I thought, well, I'm not going to be a performer at Disneyland. And so I did the second best thing. I went down to casting and I said, I'll do anything. What I really want to do is I want to work inside Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, and I want to talk on the microphone, and I want to say, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for, attending Great Moments. That's what I want to do. She goes, it doesn't pay well. And she said, you have a gorgeous smile. and you're so friendly. You need to work in foods because it makes the most money and it's going to be a perfect fit for you. Let me tell you a quick story because I got a lot of stories and they're not very quick. I changed the gender bias at Disneyland because they hired me as a host for the Blue Bayou. You know Blue Bayou, right? Hard to get in there.
Oh, yes.
They hired me as a host. I got my costume and everything. I went down for my on-the-job training and the manager said, no, guys can't be host, only girls can. I thought I was getting fired, y'all. They sent me back to casting. I'm already in the costume, the baby blue vest. I'm walking back and that same girl that said I had a nice smile, she goes, what's wrong? I said, I think I got fired. What? Why? They said boys can't be host. And she said, oh, that's right. So then I had to go work at the French Market Cafe serving, jambalaya. And they called me Barbecue Bert. You had to have a nickname. Barbecue Bert, we need another dish of jambalaya. All right, right on top of that. 2 weekends I lasted. 2 weekends.
Oh, no.
But here's the thing. I knew that wasn't a perfect fit for me, but I knew what was, and it was inside entertainment, right? So I reevaluated why I was not cast. And it's because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared mentally. I wasn't prepared physically. I mean, remember purple sweatpants and a matching sweatshirt? Come on. I look like Barney. Yeah, I swear. I still look like Barney. But the thing is, I was not ready. And you can all understand this, right? Sometimes you're like, I know I'm not ready, but I'm still going to do it. And maybe you don't get cast. And then you go back and you say, oh, I wasn't ready. I got ready. I went to every single dance class. I tried out for every single straight play musical. During that time, I did music videos. I worked with, our older generation, Lisa. I was in a music video with her. I worked with Phil, Robin Williams. I was on LA casting. I was putting in the work. And you know what? It wasn't about the resume I was building. It was the heart. It was the heart of a performer I was building. So in 2005, they were casting for the 50th anniversary of Disneyland. And I heard the announcement. They were going to have 2 parades and shows and all this. And I thought, okay, I got to do this. I'm ready. I'm ready now. I talked myself out of it. Fear. I talked myself out of it. Here's the thing. I go to the grand opening, May 5th, 2005. I go, tons of people. They even closed the floodgates to Fantasyland. Like sometimes you were just standing there. You couldn't eat any food because there were too many lines. But what I did see was a parade called Block Party Bash. And this was a show in Disney California Adventure. It was non-stop, 3 show stops. The entire length of the show was 55 minutes long. These people were doing acrobatics, jump rope, trampolines, pogo sticks, scooters, dancing. It was intense, and it had all of my favorite songs. And I turned to my brother that day and I said, when this show auditions, I'm not auditioning, I'm getting the part. Well, it just so happened that the next week they were auditioning because the show director, Marilyn Magnus, felt they needed more dancers. So I went down, over 2,000 people at that audition. And I'm standing talking to this crazy girl. I mean, she was crazy, cuckoo, shoo. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this is interesting. So I'm waiting to be, let through security. And they come out and they said, okay, the pay is going to be $7.25. And I'm thinking, that's it? Right? Everyone thinks a Disney performer makes millions of dollars. I'll pause for that.
I will too.
Okay. I contemplated going home because I thought, oh, that's not enough money. I never performed there, and here I was trying to put a price tag on being a dancer in a Disney parade. Okay, so I get in there, they do across the floor, I get kept. There's about 300 of us, and they keep having us run the routine over and over and over. Then a few of us get sent next door, and we actually get fitted for costumes. I come back, and there are 10 of us in a line. And Marilyn Magnus, she comes down the line, and she starts shaking everyone's hand one at a time, and she's giving feedback. Y'all, this was no joke. She's telling people, you need to smile more. Your eyes twinkled, but I didn't see any teeth. And she told us, if you want to work at Disneyland, you have to remember two things. One, you have to tell a story. And two, everyone wants to be you. And so when you are in front of guests, you have to tell them the story, and you have to make it look so easy and flawless that they believe they can get up and do your job. And I'm thinking, I did that. I did that in this audition. She came to me, shook my hand, and she said, that was a phenomenal performance. There was only one person in that line. She shook his hand and said, we don't have a part for you. It was awkward. And it was the first time I had experienced something so real, right? So 9 of us left, and I'm thinking, what happened to all those 300 and some people? And she said, you all are Pixar pals. Congratulations. And I'm thinking, what's a Pixar pal? Right? I'm thinking, oh, am I going to be a friend? No, I got cast as a dancer. The role that I saw, and instantly I said, I want this, and I got it. Now, let me tell you, this woman was incredible. If you work at Disney, you are going to meet inspirational individuals who do nothing but fill you up. Marilyn Magnus, world-renowned choreographer, director. If ever you go to Knott's Berry Farm and you go to the Birdcage Theater, she's on the Hall of Fame. Her picture is up. So she told us on our very first full cast rehearsal, she said, you will all leave here with a DUI. Now, okay, slow down. Don't get nervous. DUI stands for delight, uplift, and inspire. She then took $500 and threw them on the floor. This was my first time getting to know everyone. She went around the room and we played the name game. Everyone had to say their name. And you would go in a circle and you would say it as fast as you could. And then she would say, reverse, and you'd have to reverse it. If you paused, you would have to get into the mush pot and she would give you a nickname. Now, my name's Bert, and it just so happened there was someone in the cast named Ernie. So when I was asked to be in the mush pot, she turns to Ernie and says, you too. And we were known as Bert and Ernie. Now, here's the cool part. After everyone got into the mush pot, she said, if anyone here can name every single person's name, this $500 is yours. Michelle Montrelli collected $500 that night. And
Okay.
Yeah, right? Marilyn said, she may be taking home money, but I want you to know what you do here has nothing to do with money. What you do here, so many people want to do, and it was your time. So treat this with dignity, because if you do, everyone will treat you the same, right? And so that was my first experience working at Disneyland. Now, I know we have some questions, so I'm going to go through them so I can make sure we answer all of them. Working at Disneyland has been such a dream. Let me tell you some fun things, some fun facts about my experience. In Block Party Bash, again, 55 minutes, trampolines, jump ropes, running around on scooters, just high octane. YouTube a clip if you need to. I was new and I was gridded 2 days. My days were Tuesday and Wednesdays. I would show up, I would give it 110%. And one day the show director came to me and said, how about you do this 7 days a week. I'm all 7 days a week. So back then we had an A cast. A cast works 7 days a week. You used to not have days off. And if you worked like at Knott's Berry Farm or Universal, sometimes there's only one cast and you work 7 days a week. I loved it, right? And so they said, how about 7 days a week? I said, done, yes. And they're like, you don't want to think about it? I said, I'm too new to think about it. The answer is always going to be yes. Let me tell you, I was having the time of my life. Anytime they needed me to do something, I said, yes, yes, yes. Hey, we need someone to try on this costume. Yes, of course, right? I think the thing that I did was I was always kind to every single person. Because again, in 1992, I thought this was not going to be my reality. So I was there. Here's something real fun. So I got swung out. And swung out means they give you a little rest because you're working 7 days a week. And I'm there and I'm just like, oh, I wish I was dancing today. Everyone's so lucky, like they're getting their costumes. The choreographer comes to me and says, okay, so I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit, okay? The choreographer comes and says, you're approved for Frozone, correct? Again, I have that yes mentality. I said, no, I'm not. She goes, you're going to do it today. Let me tell you about the Incredible unit. The Incredibles was barely coming out, okay? And to showcase the Incredibles, they were trapped in these, what we call tweener floats. And you would be inside every parade stop, you were stuck in that tweener float until the last 5 minutes of the finale. And they would raise you about 50 feet in the air on this little tiny twig thing. And you would see them shaking back and forth. And she said, you're going to do that. And I said, now, I was afraid of heights. I'm thinking, oh, you wish I was? But of course, what did I say? Yes, yes. So I go to costuming and they said, have you ever done this before? I said, no. And they're thinking I'm lying. And I'm like, no. I've actually never done anything except what I have been doing for 7 days. I don't know. They're fitting me in this thing, right? And then they put this mask over me and I'm like, oh my gosh. They load me into this small apparatus and the choreographer comes and says, oh, on the third 8 count, that's when you unfreeze and dance. Dance? Oh no, I'm hanging on for dear life. Are you kidding me? Also, they forgot to tell me there's a pedal that you push. You push it twice to go up, once to stop. So I'm in there and the driver of the float says, you're good? I said, no, what do I do? Y'all, I pressed that pedal 15 times. I was so nervous. I was like, ugh! It's raising up. It's starting to shake. And I'm like trying to stay still. I'm just so nervous. Finally, we get to the top and I'm supposed to unfreeze. Oh no, I hung on and I just did this. I knew that thing was going to flip over and that was the end of Bert Fulton, right? Okay, anyways, I survived. Did I get notes? Yeah, I got notes that day. The choreographer goes, oh, remember on the third 8 count, I said, I'm never doing this part again. Are you kidding me? Okay, so great experiences. How do you get cast though? What did I do? Well, I was prepared. Do you have to take dance classes to be a performer at Disney? Probably not. Do you have to know how to act? Probably not. Do you have to be kind? Probably not. I don't know. This is what I do know. If you really want to get cast, and I'm not just talking about Disneyland, I'm talking about everywhere. If you really want something, you're going to put in the work. And the work is so hard because in here, you have the thing that provides you with negative self-talk and with fear. And I'm here to tell you, first of all, fear is an illusion. It is something that you and only you make up. It is this dialogue that you create to pretend that you're good enough. I'm here to tell you right now, you were created with perfection, right? We may not be perfect every single day. maybe 5 out of 7 days a week, but you were created with perfection, and you need to remember that. So you go, let's say you want to work at Disney, you go, you learn the product. If it's a brand new product, there's not much you can learn. You have to go and listen very closely. But in my case, I went and saw the product. I knew the music. I knew what kind of dance style. I knew that the classes I was taking was on par with what was being presented, right? And I knew that the most important thing I could do was something I learned when I was in high school and in college: make connections. Don't just show up and pretend that you're going to be great. You have to start asking questions, and you have to start asking for help. And every single choreographer that was on that first project really helped me. So much so that in 2005, that winter, I was approached to be in the Main Street Electrical Parade as a court dancer. Soon after that, in 2006, I was approached and asked to be in the Mardi Gras show. This is a real cool story. I'll tell you in a second. Mardi Gras show. After that, there was a brand new program, the Youth Education Series, which I'm still a part of. The very first year, and I just happened to be very observant, and these two girls had a magnifying glass, and they're talking all kinds of crazy stuff. I said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Oh, you would be perfect for this." So I went down, I auditioned, I got cast. Same year, became an entertainment host, right? And in 2006, the end of 2006, they were about to have an audition. The last time they had an audition for this show was 1998. Are you with me? The last time they had an audition for this show, I auditioned. Fantastic. Y'all, I killed it. They taught me the character routine, the monkey routine, the banner routine. I was just boom, 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 right? And about a month later, they gave me a call, and they said that I would be friends with Pluto. And it's a 3-track deal. So I would be doing the monkeys, and I would be a pirate, and I'd be friends with Pluto. And I thought, oh my God, this must be it. This must be where my story ends. No, it kept growing. 2009, I was one of the very first, they called it a super standby. They tested it out as a pilot program. They don't have it anymore because I lost about 50 pounds. You were a standby for every single show and parade that the parade department had to offer. And let me talk to you about my day. My day started at 12 o'clock. I did 3 Mardi Gras shows. I would go over and I would do 1 Celebrate a Street Party show. I would go and do a Pixar Play Parade show. I would go back and do another Celebrate a Street Party show, and I'd end my day with 2 shows of Fantasmic. And I was always cast, always, because I'm the perfect height range. And 50 pounds later, I looked good. But it's hard work. Why is it hard work? Because if you're a ballerina, if you are, used to dancing in jazz shoes, start to dance in tennis shoes, because you are dancing in Nikes on concrete. Sometimes the hottest weather I've ever danced in was 113 degrees. That was during a Celebrate a Street Party. Again, it was 3 show stops, 55 minutes long, and I just happened to be portraying Mickey's best friend. And after that 3rd show stop, I sat on the float and I nearly had heat stroke. I couldn't even see, I couldn't hear, and someone just happened to help me up, and I was like, what, where am I, right? But it was so fun. So fun.
Oh
right?
my God, I love it.
Okay, Katie Jo, what do we need to answer?
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit about this perfect height range, and I think something that is so clear to Disney people, but we forget that not everybody knows this, is those non-negotiables, the Disney look. You come into an audition, and yes, they're looking for dancers, actors, singers, but there's a couple of other things. There's those rumored, you briefly tell us, like, what are some things that are just non-negotiable?
So when I was young and I was at a dance studio, my instructor said, never get a tattoo. If you get a tattoo, you're not working in this industry. So, I mean, it's a different day, right? People have tattoos. Here's the thing, at Disney, there's no budging. Let's say you want to go and just work on stage in foods like I did. You have to look the Disney part. If you have a tattoo that's visible and it can't be covered up, they won't even consider you. And they will put not hireable ever, right? So at Disney, we have what's called the 4 keys. This is crucial information for you. You can look this up online. The number 1 key is safety. You have to be safe in all that you do, right? That even means you cannot wear flip-flops on campus because it's not safe. Something can fall on your foot and you can be injured, right? So when you walk into an audition, they're looking for, is the person dressed appropriately, right? How do they interact with people? Instantly, even when you're going through security, if you're coming through security in an audition and you have purple hair, they can call the casting director and say, oh, Bert's coming in with purple hair. And they will just make a note. You have to be kind to every single person you come in contact with. If you are in the restroom, you better put a smile on that face and not say anything that's going to get you in trouble. There's eyes all over the place. Here's the thing, and you're going to learn a lot about this next week with Dana when we talk about personal brand. When you leave your house, and this is even if you go to the grocery store, when you leave your house, you are taking your story with you. And you can have a bad day. I have my bad days too. But your bad day cannot overcome who you really are, right? So some non-negotiables at Disney: tattoos. If you come to an audition and you're painted, you're beat for the gods, as the kids say, right? Yeah. They're gonna be like, that doesn't look natural. That's not the Disney look, right? Mm-hmm. Disney look, Katie Jo with her blue fingernails, right?
Living the quarantine life.
Everything has to be natural. Even at Disney, we wear nude colored unitards because we don't necessarily have a lot of human characters in our shows and parades. Humans have belly buttons. Disney characters do not. So everything has to be flush. Here's the thing. You know the Disney brand. So you need to come dressed as the Disney brand, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be kind. Kindness and nice is completely different. Nice is, hi. Kind is, you want to make connections with people. And the thing is this, those casting directors, they have other people sitting at that table with them. Stage managers, costumers, right? Assistant parade leads. And they're watching to see how you interact. If you want to work somewhere, be fun to work with, right? Because I'll tell you what, doing 7 shows a day, maybe 24 shows in one day, I'll tell you where the real truth is: the lunch break. When you are on lunch break, oh my God, the truth comes out. And that's when you know whether or not it's going to be a great rest of the season or not, right? So be kind to everyone. If you don't get along with someone, fix it, right? So it's things like that. It's looks, going to an audition, make sure that you stand out. I would not wear brown and blacks and grays. I would wear a fun shirt. Girls, natural makeup, pull your hair back, no hat at all, right? Be presentable, be fun to work with. Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of, I see a lot of faces on here, and we have so many. It's so easy to say, I want to be best friends with a princess at Disney. Mm-hmm. Face auditions are a lot different than parades or shows because there's that dance element is not there. Do you have to be a dancer in order to book a job being friends with a princess in a parade? And how does a face audition work?
So at Disney, the entertainment department is the only department that is not unionized. So that means they can cancel your show whenever they need to, right? Based on popularity, budgets, whatnot. So if you're cast as, let's say, a prince or princess in a parade, there is a high likability that they do want you to be trained in dance because a lot of it is choreographed. Now, face characters that are shown in the park may not necessarily need to have an extensive dance background. However, here's my rule of thumb. Be a triple threat. Right now, do everything you can to be a triple threat, because if you want to be a face character, you can probably be a face character if you look the part. But if you want to do everything you possibly can, so a lot of times what they have in that character department is different levels. And the highest level is the special events team that gets to go to Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, Super Bowls, New York. They travel in a Winnebago. It's prestige. You need a dance background, right? Here's the rule of thumb. You have to be first an actor, because everything we do at Disney is storytelling. You have to be able to tell a story. Second, vocals. You need vocals. It's very important in that princess or prince role because you will have a dialect coach and you will have to be right on par and be aligned with that Disney princess or prince. Third is that dance element. Because if you ever watched, and I'm sure we all have, a Disney movie, they're graceful, right? They almost dance in every scene. So it is very beneficial, especially if you want to get into roles that are more utilized. If you look at Princess Fanfare, those princesses need to have that dialect, vocal training, dance. So the more well-rounded of a performer you are, the more that you can do.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, we have so many more questions, but I bet you everyone is just sitting on their hands with questions. So we'll sprinkle some in, but I do want to open it up to everyone. So let's gallery view this. If you have a question for Bert about working for Disney, what does it take? Raise your hand and I'll look for you if anyone has a question. Oh, look, Miss Emma. Okay, yes.
Emma.
Hello. I have so many things, but I'll just ask you one. So I know you talked about fear and how that can really play a part in the way you think about things. So how do you kind of push that aside or deal with that when you're trying to put yourself out there?
So it's hard, and I'm working on it every single solitary day. The first thing I do, I set my intentions for the day. I wake up and I say, today, this is who I am. It's who I've always been, and I want to be in alignment, right? And I set small goals, very small goals. Some of those goals, to be honest, Emma, is to smile at every single person. If you know me, I cannot cross you and not say hi. Even if you're a stranger, I will say, hi, how are you doing? That's just who I am, but I trained myself to be that person. The more inspiration, motivation, positive that you fill your heart with, the less fear has room to grow, right? It's this idea of in a dark room, in a dark place, right? You feel trapped. If you turn on a light, it changes the mood, it changes the energy. So whenever you feel fearful, you just switch it. I mean, if I was to go into the science, your brain, it's so powerful that if you tell your brain, I'm going to work at Disneyland, and you create a vision board, your brain says, oh, that's our goal. We have to accomplish it, right? Even if you tell your brain, I'm a Disneyland dancer, I'm a Disneyland dancer, I'm a Disneyland dancer, your brain's going to say, oh, we're a Disneyland dancer. We got to go and audition, right? Your brain's that powerful. So every day you wake up, you have to say, I'm not fearful. I'm not fearful. It's an illusion. Every time you have those thoughts, write it down on a piece of paper, look at it, repeat it back out loud, and laugh and say, oh no, that's not me. That's not me, right? That was an illusion. Yeah.
Love that.
Hard work. It's hard work.
Thanks, Emma. Anyone else with a question for Bert? I'm gonna scour here. I've got so many in front of me too. So if not, that's okay. Okay, Bert. I'm looking. Don't worry if we have some time. I have a question for you. So a lot of people come to me and ask, well, I want to go to college. Can I still go to college and work for Disney. What is the schedule like? You went full on with a 7-day a week, but can you go to college as well as perform at Disney?
Yeah. So if, and I'm speaking to every single person on this Zoom, if you do not own a day planner, buy one. If you are not the master of your schedule, learn how to, because your future is the result of your work. And so when I started at Disney, I knew that the parades happen in the middle of the day. Call time was 3:30 for one parade, and it gets out around like 7:30, right? For me, I was working 12 to sometimes midnight. So I knew I had to take the earliest classes possible. So I would go to school at 8 a.m., which means I'd have to leave my house at 6:30, go to school, go to Disney, work all day, do my homework in between, right? It's a process, but Disney recognized how important college and education is. And now Disney pays full tuition for you as a cast member to go to college. Now I'm talking, right now my tuition for 2 classes, let's say you take 2 classes, it's about $7,000, right? It's about $500 or $600 a unit. They're paying for your entire college and every single book and supply that you purchase. It's a full ride, and it's all online, so you can work at your own pace. You can take 1 classes, 4 classes, but it is such a beautiful perk. It's called Disney Aspire. So they definitely have upped their game on that. It's highly recommended though, college education, because there's so much that you should be learning, right? I mean, you should never stop learning. Constantly reach for the stars.
I love that. I love that. I'm opening it up again. Any questions from the audience? Oh, Zachary, I see you. I'm coming.
Zach?
Unmuting. Hi, Zach.
Hi. My question is, how do you let your word that you have for your question that you asked at the beginning of the Zoom? Sorry, our dog's a little feisty right now. How do you keep your word with you when like the process of projects like shows or like Fantasmic, like when it gets hard, like backstage drama or like family trouble or like anything else? Like, how do you keep the word with you without it affecting your mood and attitude?
Post-its. I post it in my car, on my mirror at home, in my locker, in the books that I'm reading. It's my bookmarker. Because let me tell you, and Dana's probably going to touch on this next week, when you value something, that's what makes your heart beat. And real quick, how I got to Harmony. I mean, I could talk all day, and I'm trying not to. Before Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, there was the ranch. It was backstage, and they had a horse stable, and it was almost about half the size of a football field. And they had, the area for the horses to run on. There were 2 miniature donkeys that would constantly run around. And every time I walked backstage to go get my costume, I would see these donkeys. And every time I saw them, the word harmony came into my mind. And harmony came to me because I thought, oh, this is it. I am supposed to be here. There were days when I wasn't feeling good, right? And it was rough because we all know we're humans, right? We're dramatic at times. And sometimes people's energy starts to invade your space. It was those days I would try to remember the word that kept me in alignment, and I couldn't remember it. I could not remember the word harmony. And so that's when I started writing that word down, so that anywhere I went, whenever I couldn't remember that word, it was written everywhere I could find it, right? And it's your brain. That's how you train your brain to stay in your values, right? It's hard. It's hard. But I think life is supposed to be hard. If it was easy, we all would not be isolated. We all would not be in this Zoom class. We wouldn't have questions, right? But that's what makes life so fun.
Love that. I love that. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, Aiden. Wait, where did you go? Oh my gosh. Oh, here you are. Okay. Oh, Aiden, hi.
Hi. So my question is, to like, what should you most be prepared for when you're going into like a giant casting call audition?
Good. So besides be kind and, look the part, your research. If you're going to an audition for a Star Wars character, you don't want to look like Little Bo Peep, right? You want to make sure that you're aligned with what they're looking for. Here's what I learned. You want to stay hydrated. You need to bring water. You need to bring safety pins because sometimes that number falls off. You do not want that number to fall off and then be like, what was that guy's number? Safety pins. You need to bring a towel because you don't want to look sweaty, right? Bring snacks for your blood sugar level. Bring the smallest bag that you can put everything in. You can bring sweatpants and a sweatshirt to stay warm because after you learn the dance, it could be an hour or 2 hours before you actually do it in front of the creative team. Other than that, if it's an open call and you're sitting in the room while other people are performing, do not talk because they will catch it. Don't talk during anyone's performance. It is just so rude, right? It's like Patti LuPone, your cell phone rings during her performance. She will break character and tell you, put that phone away, right? You don't want to disrespect anyone in that room because I guarantee I've been on that casting table and when you're watching something, that energy catches your attention and you look over and you see everyone talking. And it just makes you feel just, wait, aren't we all here for this, right? The other thing is this. You go to your first audition, again, don't be fearful. People are going to be stretching. They're going to be friends for years and years and years. Don't let that prevent you from being you, okay? I used to have this problem after the first 4 8 counts. Fear would get in my head and I'd be like, oh my God, I don't remember anything else. And so I would stop learning because I was thinking, oh my gosh, I can't learn. Here's the thing, take it small. I am a strong believer that no one ever should mark a routine. You should set a routine. Marking it means, setting means you're mentally and physically aligned and you're saying it's right foot, left foot, kickball change. And the director said that the hand flips on 7, down on 8, right? So you have to listen to the directions and you have to apply it. Because if you do that, the director says, that person's easy to work with and they want to be here, right? If you mess up big, but keep that smile on and keep telling the story.
So true. And I think building off of what Aiden said, there's different types of auditions too. We've got sculpted, face, shows and parades. Shows and parades are similar, but how does sculpted and face go into that? What should they prepare for or expect?
So it's very similar if you were to try out to be a mascot in high school. Depending what organization runs it, a lot of times you'll come in and you'll play improv games because they want to know that you can yes and. It's so important. When you're out with your guest and a kid says, let's do this, can we do this? It's yes, of course, right? This is all of our space to play in. The other thing is they will give you emotions. If ever you've taken a class from me, I'm so heavily based on emotions because you have to be able to convey those emotions. And sometimes you can't convey it here. So it has to all be told through your body language, right? Other times they may put you in some type of costume, right? And have you tell a story. They could have you audition, for Frozen Junior, we had you wear brown paper bags. They might want to see your puppeteering skills. The truth is, just be willing to try it all. Be willing to try. And that's why I say be that triple threat. Take as many classes as you can. Right now at home, there's so many free classes on YouTube and on Zooms and on Instagram. There's no excuse not to I'm taking classes every single day, right? And you know what my favorite thing to do? I teach classes, just me and the couch. And I teach the couch classes because I'll take the routine they taught me and I'll make it a little bit more harder, or I'll put like some Disney music to it. You know, no limits. Stretch.
I love that. That's so good. Thanks, Aiden. Okay,
Thank you.
last call for questions. I want to make sure that nobody has any. Let me go to this next page here. Oh, I see Cammie. Hi, Cammie.
Hi. How do you stay calm under pressure? Like going into an audition, like how do you stay calm under pressure?
So breathe. Inhale, exhale. One of my favorite choreographers is Martha Graham, because she talked about contraction and release. Martha Graham's father, he was a doctor who specialized in like nervous disorders, and he would have the patients do a lot of bodyography, if you will, right? And she saw that and found, wow, movement really helps. Contract and release, just breathe. And the most useful room is the bathroom. Go in the bathroom. Hi, Hanka, thank you so much. Shut that stall and just, right? Breathe. Because here's the thing, it's fight or flight. When you're nervous and you're fearful, you know, back in the day, cavemen used to have to run away from dinosaurs. No, I don't know that they had to, but it was fight or flight. So when you're nervous, when you're not feeling calm, that's what's happening. Your body is freaking out. You have to just calm it down, right? So just breathe. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. And I promise you within 1 minute, you're totally chill. You're totally chill.
Oh, good. Thanks, Cammie. Okay, one more quick question. Do we have it? I want to make sure. Let me go to the next page. I have a question that I think is great to end on, Bert. Okay. And that is, how has working for Disney influenced you today? 15 years is a lot of your life. And how are you a different person and better because of it?
It's good. Good question. 15 years is a long time. It's a lot of years to try to talk about in 1 hour. I started to really enjoy Bert Fulton, right? And it was probably 2013 that it clicked. And one day I woke up and I just remember I saw a flock of birds. They were in that V formation and they were flying through the sky. And I thought, oh, this is it. This is life. And I've been living a really good life. And it's funny because 2013 was my next chapter at Disney. I had to make a really difficult decision, and the decision was to hang up my dancing shoes and to transfer out of parades and into guest talent programs. And that year I became a production coordinator. I became a core trainer with the Youth Education Series, a guest talent coordinator, and it was something I never knew I needed to do, right? And my route was fitness and nutrition. I have a degree in it. And through that, I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do, but training human beings and listening to their stories, it just told me, oh, I'm not done yet. So that's why I really got into leadership. I became a parade lead for a while, and then I became a lead for guest talent programs, and that inspired me to now get my master's in leadership and organizational studies. But Disney helped me really discover the magic inside me, the magic that was inside me when I was in 2nd grade, and the music teacher said, "You're going to have a solo," right? That word that you put down on your paper, that's your purpose. That's your purpose. That's your passion. That's your drive. That's your value. And you know what? That's your perfection. People say perfect is boring. We're never going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect because you were born perfect. You don't have to try to be perfect, right? So Disney, I think, is responsible for making me the person that I am, because it allowed me to be comfortable sharing my story. You know, I'm never going to get everything right, but I'm going to try my hardest each and every day, right? And that's all we can ask for.
That was good. That was deep. Let it sizzle.
Can I end with a quote?
Please,
Okay.
have a quote.
Thank you. So just really quick, I mean, again, thank you so much for spending time with me. If ever you want to continue this conversation, or you're looking for a mentor or a friendly ear, even if you want to talk crazy, you can reach out and I will be there for you. It's my passion in life to be there for everyone. I don't care how old you are. Moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, your little siblings. So Martha Graham, her choreography was considered to be ugly. And then it caught on. There are things that I do in my life that people don't understand, or they think I'm too bold, or they think I'm a threat. It's okay, they'll catch on. They're just not ready for me yet. And Martha Graham, she said, there is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you and into action. And because there is only one of you in all of this time, this expression is unique. And if you block it because of fear, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, not how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. And the way you keep that channel open, you look at your word. You look at the word that you wrote down, and you remind yourself that you were created in perfection.
I love that. I love that. Oh, well, I hope you're feeling as inspired as I am. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. If you just are like, I love Bert Fulton and I can't get enough of him, well, Bert is currently teaching private acting, private dance, and private voice. So if that is interesting to you, no matter what your age is, contact our studio, because we are more than welcome to have you join us. Next week, we have Miss Dana McMiniman, who I see on this chat. She will be teaching us how to market our creating and marketing our personal brand. I can't talk anymore. I'm so inspired. But that's exactly what Bert was talking about. Your personal brand is what's going to help you drive you through this whole experience, whether it be working at Disney, any other theme park, or beyond. So make sure that you tune in next week. If you have follow-up questions, or you need to get a hold of Bert anyhow, you can always message us or email the studio, and I can forward that on to him. But thank you all so much for joining us, and have an amazing rest of your time, and we'll see you next week.